on a website and collect customer data, your small to mid-sized business is just as likely to be targeted by hackers. The Barracuda Web Application Firewall provides cost-effective instant security against automated and targeted attacks, making this WAF a must-have for your SMB. Reclaim your network. Try a Barracuda Web App Firewall risk-free at barracuda.com/WAF.
This announcement is for every man tired of waking up multiple times a night to use the bathroom. By calling now, preferred customers can get a free bottle of Perfect Prostate Formula. Perfect Prostate helps to increase urine flow when you go and helps to stop it when you sleep. We challenge you to try your first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. Just pay shipping and processing. This is a limited time offer. Call now. Dial 1-800-667-7068. That's 1-800-667-7068.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
The work week starts off wet and breezy through Tuesday with highs in the low 50s. By Wednesday, we start to warm up and dry out through the weekend with highs in the mid to low 60s. Overnight lows in the upper 40s. From the NBC's 16 First Alert Weather Center, I'm Angelica Carrillo.
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120, KPNW, 6:39, 21 away from 7 o'clock. Did you buy anything this weekend at the auction?
Nope.
Nothing. I don't know. And I talked about this during the auction. I think there's the items and the services that you really want to have, and then there's some that you're like, come on, almost can't afford not to. I'll just throw another reminder, kpnw.com, if you want to see. You know, and I think some people might think, oh, it's been picked through. It's like going to a garage sale at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There's some pretty good stuff up there. I think you might be surprised. And might be something that you're going to buy anyway in the next week or two. Might as well save some money. E-deals at kpnw. Are you writing this down? kpnw.com.
Yeah, some cool things up there. I was surprised. The one thing that shocked me was the night passes for Hoodoo. I figured that those would have just been gone. But then again, probably a lot of people fall into the category like me where, yeah, you know, they ski, but they don't ski well enough that they figure that at night, because I can see myself going off of some run and ending up in the woods somewhere where I know he was on the slope. He was here earlier. Where did he go? And then they're out there searching for me in the middle of the night as I'm down at the bottom of some gully. I can see that happening. I really can. Yes, it's true. I used to ski. Anyway, so coming up, we're going to be talking about aspirin. New research published in JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, for those of you keeping track at home, and in particular oncology, found that the regular use of aspirin supposedly reduces the risk for certain cancers. And researchers studied aspirin use in about 136,000 healthcare professionals, both men and women, tracking their health for over 32 years. And over the course of that study, there were slightly less than 28,000 cases of cancer found in the participants. And the regular aspirin use was found to have reduced the risk for all cancers by about 3%, although they said it had no effect, as far as they could tell, on the risk for breast, lung, or prostate cancer. To talk a little bit about it this morning from UT Health Sciences Center, it's Dr. Salman Arain joining us on the Wake Up Call. Doctor, thanks for being with us. Doctor, thanks for being with us. Are you there?
I am there, yes. Thank you for having me.
Yes, our pleasure. So let's look at this a little bit. So the study was healthcare professionals, and I'm assuming that the numbers they're looking at are in comparison for those that have not taken aspirin over a period of years. At least I would assume that. Is that correct?
That is correct. So these are healthcare providers who are being followed over the course of, as you said, 30 plus years. And the idea was, what are their lifestyles, what are their eating habits, what medications are these people taking. And it turns out that those people who were taking daily aspirin, the risk of cancer is lowered. And as you pointed out correctly, it's only some cancers. Overall risk was 3%, but this was primarily cancers of the GI tract.
Okay, so when you say cancers of the GI tract, like what, colon cancer?
Yes. So in fact, we can even specify this more. So if you had, stomach cancer or other sort of upper GI, that's about 15% risk reduction. And if you look at the lower GI tract, the colon and the rectum, that's about 19%, which is pretty dramatic if you think about it. That's about 1 in 5 patients. But again, the few things to take away from the study is that these were people taking low-dose aspirin, and they were taking it for at least 6 years before they saw the benefit in the cancer detection.
Why were they taking them to begin with? For heart health or what? What was the reason for taking them to begin with? Were they asked by the researchers to take them, or was there some other reason?
No, they were asked by the researchers, and a lot of these patients also had other risk factors for basically heart disease, cardiovascular disease. And the whole idea was, as we age, does having an aspirin prevent against vascular disease? Because if you think about it, much of our research till this point, or a lot of it, has been driven by reduction in onset of heart disease. So it's what's called primary prevention. So to your point, a lot of these patients were being asked to take aspirin as primary preventative against cardiovascular disease.
All right, so how was it then that they were able to figure out, since they were looking at cardiovascular disease, what was it that allowed them to kind of put the pieces together and say, this appears to have some effect on cancer as well?
So I think the signals for that actually have been there for some time. There were some earlier studies, both from the U.S. and from Europe, that looked, at colon polyps, for example, and they found that in patients taking aspirin who then underwent colonoscopy, it was reported that these people tended to have fewer polyps, and fewer polyps that were actually of the cancerous type. And so I think that idea was always there. I think in this group, the whole idea was, as we age, we looked at the overall body. So they were looking at everything. They were looking at stroke risk, at cancer risk, all types of other sort of, peptic ulcer risk, all of these things. And again, I'm not privy to the full spectrum of diseases that were being followed, but cancer was definitely something that this group was looking at. And, a lot of these patients were getting regular screenings, the typical type of screenings that these, physicians and providers would provide for their own patients. Mm-hmm. And that's when the signals are found out. I think then, over the past few years, we have been, at least from what I understand in the cancer community, been honing in on these patient populations that are taking aspirin on a more ongoing basis.
You mentioned low dose. Define that.
So low dose is what in the States is in the U.S. is 81 milligrams daily. I think when we started off, back when aspirin was first prescribed, I think patients were told to take the full strength aspirin, 325 milligrams daily. Over the course of decades, we found out that really once there's enough aspirin in the system, enough platelets are inhibited. Now, the platelets are the sticky cells that cause all these cardiovascular problems. Then you can go to a maintenance dose. And in studies done here and then in Australia, they found that a maintenance dose of between 75 and 80 milligrams is adequate. So in the U.S., low dose is 81 milligrams of aspirin. Now, there were, interestingly, to your point, some other studies done where patients were taking 325 milligrams of aspirin every other day, and this was, another sort of physician's health study, and they found that in this, they didn't see the benefit. So again, I think the key here is that as long as you take aspirin daily for an extended period of time, even if it's low dose, there's a benefit. The other thing that was interesting is if you take a higher dose of aspirin, then your risk reduction actually is greater and earlier. So some of the studies show that at low dose it takes about 5 to 6 years to prevent the cancer. At high dose aspirin, again taken daily, it takes at least 3 years. As early as 3 years, you can see a signal in cancer prevention.
All right, so, an individual that's looking at doing this, it sounds to me like take the high dose first.
Yes and no. I mean, I think an individual looking to do this really needs to talk to his or her physician and talk about the overall risk. I think there are three parts to this equation. The first is your risk of having heart disease or the need for aspirin because of heart disease. The second one is your risk for colon cancer and GI and colorectal cancer. And the third one is your risk for having a GI bleed based on perhaps your prior history. I think based on that, the way I see it, at least for cardiovascular, I tell patients, obviously if they're having a heart attack and they ask for advice over the phone, they're having chest pains, you want to give them the full strength. But once you do have the full strength in, and we have a sort of a maintenance dose of 81, I'm not sure we know enough to say that start with the high dose, because I think the risk of bleeding would perhaps be higher.
Dr. Salman Arain joining us on the Wake Up Call. Just out of curiosity, do they know what the mechanism is and why it is that this affects or helps prevent, say, colon cancer as opposed to prostate cancer, which it apparently has no effect on?
Yes, that's a great question. I think they have ideas. I think one thing is clear is that whatever the aspirin's interaction with these cancers it affects the GI tract more, and I don't know if it's because it's absorbed through there or perhaps of the certain cancer cell types that are involved in the GI tract cancers versus the cell types or cell lines that are involved in prostate cancer. In terms of the exact mechanism, I think there's some idea that it's one of the anti-inflammatory properties of aspirin, because there's a lot of inflammation at the time of cancer development. And something that's really interesting is that you can see a reduction in these sort of suspicious-looking polyps much earlier than you see a reduction in cancer-related deaths, because there are some studies that show that actually even death from cancer is prevented, not only occurrence but even death. And so the idea is that because it prevents cancers at an early phase, that perhaps it's the early inflammation associated with the cancer that the aspirin is affecting. But again, those are areas of hard research, and I'm sure that we'll be focusing some of our efforts there.
All right. Dr. Arain, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. We appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Dr. Salman Arain with the UT Health Science Center in Houston, joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning, talking about the latest research out dealing with aspirin and its effects, at least on the prevention of certain types of cancers. It's 6:51 News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Get set to save now at your local Kubota dealer. Take command of your lawn care tasks with the new Kubota Commander zero-turn mower. Get commercial-grade performance and a full 4-year factory warranty at a price you can afford. Now, during the Get Set to Save sales event, get special introductory pricing of $38.99 and zero down and 0% APR financing for 36 months. Now through March 31st, 2016. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about cost and terms. See Mid-Valley Tractor on Highway 99. Great prices, great products from people you can trust.
Pop quiz for all business owners. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business, which one of these can you lose? Your home, your car, or your life savings? The answer? All three. Because if you're not incorporated, it's not just your business that can be sued, it's you too, which means you could lose everything. Once business owners realize the risk of not being incorporated, they usually scramble to incorporate or form an LLC. To make it quick and easy, Incorporate.com is now giving away a free incorporation guide to all business owners, so you can incorporate in just 10 minutes. For your free 10-minute incorporation guide, call now, 1-800-400-5017. Protect your financial future. At Incorporate.com, they don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. Call now for your free 10-minute incorporation guide. 1-800-400-5017. Hurry while supplies last. 1-800-400-5017. That's 1-800-400-5017.
Teresa Carrier from Carrier RV Service in Eugene talks about pre-purchase inspections.
If you're looking to buy an RV, we always tell everybody to make sure that you have someone inspect it before you buy it. That's from a private party or a dealer. We save the consumer money by inspecting the RV before they buy it. because sometimes we'll advise them not to buy it.
Visit their website at carrierandsons.com or stop by.
99 and Airport Road, we're the second driveway on the right.
Carrier RV Service and Repair Center is all about satisfied customers.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Baby boomers have so woefully underfunded their retirement plans that for many, more than half probably, comfort is simply not in the cards. So if you don't have a public retirement or other defined benefit plan, just what does it take to retire well and be pretty sure you won't run out of money no matter how long you live? Studies by the Financial Analyst Journal and others suggest that you'll need savings that total about 22 times the annual income you want them to produce. That means if you want $25,000 a year, beyond whatever Social Security you might collect, that's $2,000 a month, you need $550,000 in your retirement accounts. If you think you might want $50,000 instead, your capital needs are $1.1 million. Other studies suggest that 60% of Americans have less than $25,000 saved. On these numbers, you would produce about $94 a month. If you still smoke a pack a day, that won't even keep you in cigarettes. Here's the nugget. It seems obvious that we're going to have a lot of retirees who are old, poor, and very likely politically angry. Though some boomers still have delusional plans for their old age that don't involve savings, and so won't work. For many, it's simply too late. More soon. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
The Easter season is a time of hope, which makes it the perfect time to consider a gift to the Eugene Mission. Because when you give to the Eugene Mission, you give rise to hope. The Eugene Mission is the area's only wellness center for the homeless. We treat the causes of homelessness, not just the symptoms. And when those we serve get well, all of Eugene Springfield gets well. Give rise to hope by donating today at eugenemission.org. The Eugene Mission. Hope rising.
Holloway in London.
Why are you torturing me?
On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is the sound of E. coli splashing around in raw hamburger juice on your cutting board. And it looks like Mom just put the tomatoes and onions on there too. Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. So always separate raw meat from vegetables on 2 cutting boards. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Showers continue today with highs in the upper 40s. Breezy with winds coming out of the southwest around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts getting up to 25 miles an hour. Between a quarter and a half inch of rain is possible for today. And later tonight, showers and wind continue with overnight lows in the low 40s. From the NBC 16 First Alert Weather Center, I'm Angelica Carrillo.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Oil has changed its tune after Iran said it would not take part in a production freeze right now, thanks. Plus, investors are being cautious about this week's Fed meeting. All that has stocks stepping away from the big gains racked up on Friday. The Dow is down 22 points, the Nasdaq off 6, the S&P 4. Crude futures are falling a little more than $1 to about $37.35 a barrel. Their recent jump has been built on talk of a possible production freeze. The Wall Street Journal says, too, their recent recovery from last month's low may end up spurring more oil production from U.S. shale companies that had cut back. Jury selection is to start this morning in the second trial involving the faulty ignition lawsuit against General Motors. A first trial ended in January amid allegations of misleading testimony. The suit argues GM should be held accountable for injuries, deaths, and vehicle value lost. GM shares are down about 2/3%. I'm Joan Doniger, Bloomberg Radio.
Loretta Lynch, Obama's Attorney General, recently testified at a Senate hearing. Something said there received very little attention in the media, probably by design. Rhode Island Democrat Senator Sheldon Whitehouse asked her if there had been Obama Justice Department discussions about pursuing civil action against climate change deniers. The senator revealed the leftist strategy to actually prosecute political opponents of the man-made global warming hoax. He accused the fossil fuel industry of fraudulently pretending not to understand global warming science. He pointed out that under Bill Clinton, the Justice Department used RICO statutes to prosecute the tobacco industry. Senator complained that under Obama, the DOJ has done nothing so far about the climate denial scheme. Now, instead of Loretta Lynch warning Senator Whitehouse that his question raised red flags, given that we have a First Amendment here, the Attorney General actually said this matter has been discussed. We have received information about it, and we have referred it to the FBI to consider whether or not it meets the criteria for which we would take action. Just last week, liberals said Loretta Lynch would make a great Obama Supreme Court nominee. Yet she's plotting with a Democrat senator who wants to prosecute political opponents and legal businesses for their disagreement on climate theories. These liberal Democrats are radical extremists who want to quash all dissent. Who do you think might be their first target?
Hi, I'm Kyle Cox, founder and owner of Blindster.com. At Blindster.com, we offer custom-made blinds, handcrafted and delivered to your door in about 2 weeks, oftentimes at a lower price than blinds sold at home improvement warehouses. Available in a wide variety of styles and colors, our blinds are expertly crafted exactly to your specifications, and we guarantee your blinds will fit or will replace them for free, even if you make a mistake when measuring or ordering. At Blindster, we are passionate about both the quality of our products and the satisfaction of our customers. Most of our products are backed by a limited lifetime warranty. And if you need help, our team of friendly and knowledgeable window covering experts is ready to assist you every step of the way. Please give us a chance to earn your business.
Visit Blindster.com today and check out our new faux wood plantation shutters. And for a limited time only, all Rush listeners will receive 30% off any order. Just enter code
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. He's an American who fought for the enemy, ISIS. And he's just surrendered in Iraq. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, a major general with the Peshmerga forces, has identified the Palestinian-American man as Mohammed Jamal Amin of Virginia. General Faisal Halkani says Amin surrendered near the town of Sinjar, adding that he was carrying large amounts of cash, 3 forms of identification, including an American driver's license and 3 cell phones. Iraqi forces took Sinjar from ISIS late last year. The Islamic insurgents control large parts of Syria and Iraq. Dave.
Jessica, federal investigators are headed to Kansas to figure out why an Amtrak train derailed after midnight on a straight stretch of track near Dodge City.
I exited, and as soon as I opened the room door, there was a large burning smell. So we were all really concerned about that.
At least 29 passengers were taken to hospitals, though none have life-threatening injuries. In the Los Angeles area, a man who stole a police car last night was shot and killed after leading officers on an hour-long, 100-mile-an-hour chase. He had the car's lights flashing and sirens on as he weaved through traffic and ran red lights. He finally got cornered in an alleyway. It's the day before John Kasich says he'll win Ohio and shake up the presidential race.
There's about 1,000 delegates yet to go. We'll go to the convention if that's where we end up, because it's so crazy you don't know what's going to happen, in very strong shape.
Donald Trump thinks otherwise.
We got to win in Ohio. If we can win Ohio, we're going to run the table, folks.
The Republican will also be campaigning in North Carolina and Florida today. A CBS poll gives Trump a 20-point lead there. People will also vote in Missouri and Illinois. Democrat Bernie Sanders will campaign in 4 of those states today, hoping to pull off another upset over Hillary Clinton, like in Michigan. There's a criminal investigation into a video that has surfaced online showing a man at a Kellogg factory in Memphis urinating on an assembly line. Kellogg says it happened 2 years ago, and any affected food products have since expired. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Spend an evening with James Taylor and his all-star band. The American icon is back on tour. Friday, July 15th, Matthew Knight Arena.
Whenever I see your smiling face, I have to smile.
The multiple Grammy Award-winning James Taylor. And a night full of his biggest hits.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain, and I'll be there, yeah, yeah, yeah. got a friend.
James Taylor.
In my mind,
Tickets on sale now at MatthewKnightArena.com. Friday, July 15th, Matthew Knight Arena. Spend the night with a friend. James Taylor. A Beaver production.
There is a little bit of a decline to start the week on Wall Street. Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
Indeed, after 4 weeks of gains, Dave, today we're seeing a little bit of a pullback. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 42 points, 17,172. The Nasdaq down 14. The S&P 500 down 9. All 10 sectors are lower, led by energy as oil drops about 4%. Pfizer, Exxon, Procter & Gamble are under pressure. And Starwood Hotels gets a new offer from a consortium by China Angbang Insurance Group that's leading the way, and that's threatening the bid from Marriott for over $12 billion. Dave.
Nicole, the price of oil is moving down substantially this morning, about $1.60, and it's back below $37 a barrel now. As gas rises a bit more today, AAA's national average for regular is close to $1.94 a gallon. That's 12 cents more than we were paying 1 week ago. There's still Boston strong. A lot of people showed up to a casting call in a Boston neighborhood, Alston, to play a small part in a movie about the marathon bombings.
They came early.
I heard there were people here at 4 a.m. in beach chairs. How crazy is that?
They came with passion.
I think it's a film that needs to be out here.
And more than anything else, they came in numbers.
We had over 1,000 people in the first hour.
Patriots Day, which is about the Boston Marathon bombing, drew a record number of aspiring actors to Alston, even though the parts as extras pay just $100 a day.
That's Jim Morelli with Fox 25 TV. Let all the office pools begin. A lot of people will spend the next few days filling out their brackets, having fun with March Madness. Kansas is number 1 ranked going into the NCAA tournament. Jayhawks coach Bill Self tells CBS.
Being the overall number 1, these guys have really performed well consistently at a high level. But in order to make it a special year, you know you got to win it.
Also getting number 1 seeds, North Carolina, Virginia, and Oregon. There are 68 teams in the field. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
KPNW 7:05. Monday go round, March 14th of the wake-up call. Periods of rain throughout the day. 48 for the high. Some standing water out there. Boy, if you're not ready for it and you come across a lake, somebody could be potentially getting soaked, pedestrian to your left or right. A couple of situations. We'll throw this out there. Bill's going to talk more about it with the news coming up. But Highway 36, milepost 25, 2 miles west of Triangle Lake. We got both lanes affected with a landslide. It is closed. And we'll see about in the news when they think that might be open. No way of knowing for sure. Just know you need to take your hovercraft or an alternate route today. I-5, milepost 242, 8 miles north of Albany. We got a crash. It's pretty wet out there after a weekend of some heavy precipitation. We've got rain, and hopefully this is it. We have no more to talk about as we get ready for the drive time hours when traffic picks up just a little bit more. We were talking about last hour aspirin and how it can be a help in health. Apparently, getting a tattoo, according to the University of Alabama, can help you become healthier. And the fact that when you get a bunch of them, your body gets used to the pain and the stress, and it makes your immune system stronger, and apparently makes you less likely to get sick. That after the first one, because apparently you're more likely because your body is not ready for it after the first one, and typically you get sick. So I don't know. When you got your first one, did you get sick?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. What about the second or third? Do you feel like
no,
your immune system?
No, it was no. Once I got the sleeves done, it was no problems.
All right. So next time somebody says, I don't really think you should be doing that, au contraire. And then maybe next hour we'll talk about how apparently taking a photo of your food makes it taste better. 42. And that's probably for the people that really spend a lot of time on Facebook with the selfies and pictures of their food.
Oh, really? It made it taste so good after I took a photo of it. Oh, this pizza is just scrumptious. Before...
Not so much.
Crap.
Sheldon Dubb's coming up. Going to talk about their big concert coming up, and they'll give us a preview. Speaking of preview, a preview of the news now.
Yeah, we'll talk about a little bit more about that landslide that has closed Highway 36. We'll also check in with a fatal fire in Sweet Home. By the way, yeah, the Ducks got some good news. Rob will be coming along as part of our newscast this morning.
So do the Beavers.
And missiles headed towards Oregon. Those stories more coming up, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, live and local here on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
At 7:08. Morning.
Burrito Amigos is a business rule breaker. In business courses, it's taught you can make a product cheap and fast, cheap and good, or good and fast, but you can't have it cheap, fast, and good. Burrito Amigos, therefore, is an outlier. You do get all three characteristics in any product at Burrito Amigos. How many burrito places can claim they put real, tender pieces of black Angus beef in their huge burritos and yet sell them for way under $10? And get them to you in just a couple of minutes. Take anything off the menu and it's the same. I'm a new convert to the Burrito Amigos shrimp burritos, and they're like something from what most people would consider to be a fancy sit-down restaurant. You've got to love a business that breaks the rule of three and then gives you friendly service as a bonus. That's one of the reasons why I'm one of Burrito Amigos' biggest fans. That, and they use 2 types of bacon in their bacon burritos. That's another business rule. You can't have it cheap, fast, and good with 2 types of bacon. Unless it's Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield. They could be burrito unicorns.
I'm Isaac Jackson at Jackson Jones Law Office. At our office, we represent people who have lost everything because of someone else's bad judgment. When someone takes something close to you, your health or a loved one, the right lawyer can help you walk through the stress, get the medical bills paid, and if needed, stand up and fight on your behalf. Our philosophy is simple. We start by meeting with you to give you a straightforward assessment of your case. Once that's done, we'll talk about what it means to hire a lawyer, whether it makes sense to try to get a settlement without a lawsuit, or whether we think it will take a fight. Our office specializes in wrongful death cases, accidents involving drunk drivers, and victims in violent car accidents. We want to help you move on, but if we need to, we will stand up and we'll fight for you. Call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797. Let's have a conversation. At Jackson Jones Law, we understand that everything can change in a second. If that's you, let us help you walk through this difficult time. Again, call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797 at Jackson Jones Law.
Ramjack has your foundation solution. Ramjack can fix that.
CCB 146906.
Today's top stories. In depth. This is the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, a woman is dead after an early morning fire in Sweet Home swept through an apartment complex. The 3-alarm blaze broke out early Sunday morning around 1:30 in the 2300 block of Main Street. Fire crews from Sweet Home, Lebanon, and Brownsville were able to get the fire under control fairly quickly. However, a woman identified as 70-year-old Ramona Schrock died in that fire. The apartment complex and a nearby complex were evacuated. Fire investigators say it was caused by a cooking stove that was left on. Fire officials say that the residents in all 5 units of the complex are now displaced and that the Red Cross is assisting those families. Transportation officials say Highway 36 west of Triangle Lake is going to be closed for several days after a huge landslide. The Oregon Department of Transportation says the Sunday slide left the 2-lane highway blocked by 100-foot-tall trees and about 300 cubic yards of rock and debris. The cleanup work is expected to last about 5 days. Officials are urging motorists to take alternate routes like Highway 26 as there's no local detour. Now, Triangle Lake is about 35 miles northwest of Eugene. Blotchley School District officials say buses won't run Monday, today, west of the lake on Greenleaf Route. If you're going to Triangle Lake from the east, you're actually good to go on Highway 36, but motorists needing to reach destinations west of milepost 25, which is where the slide happened, you're going to need to take Highway 126. Well, it was quite an exciting weekend for the Ducks and the Beavs. Rob has the story.
Remember when the University of Oregon was a football school with a basketball afterthought? Coach Dana Altman is changing that. In his 6th season, he's got the Ducks, the Pac-12 regular season and tournament champs, riding into the NC2A tournament as a number 1 seed for the first time in school history. Sliding in past teams like Michigan State, Oklahoma, or Villanova. No going stealth on this one. No surprising anybody. The Ducks have a huge target on their back. So how do you ignore the hype? The number 1 seed. Avoid any distractions or surprise from a lower seed. Coach Dana Altman offers this.
We hope everybody will, stay the same, keep their composure, keep their heads, and get ready to play, the way we want to play. Our formula's been pretty good here. We don't want to deviate from it at all.
The other number 1 seeds are North Carolina, Kansas, and Virginia. The Ducks might be enjoying the number 1 seed, but they don't have long to celebrate after the first round in which they play Holy Cross or Southern. Hopefully, they live on to play in the West bracket that includes Baylor, Duke, Oklahoma, and even Oregon State. That's right, the Beavers are not only in, but a 7th seed. Later today, we find out what seed and where the OSU women will play in their tournament. Bill?
A street in West Eugene was shut down for over an hour Sunday after a person had a mental health crisis. Eugene police say it started shortly before noon on the 2000 block of Cityview Street. Cityview was shut down between West 18th and West 21st for about an hour and a half while police worked to get the person to come out of a family member's house. Neighbors in the area were told to stay inside at the time. Police said the person was taken to the University District Hospital for evaluation. An accused arsonist is behind bars, and it was the work of the public as much as police work that put him there. The Florence Police Department and the Oregon State Police say that tips from the public allowed them to catch the suspects in an arson case that occurred in the early morning hours on 2nd Street in Florence, March 3rd.
The 2 suspects were identified as James Lewis Main, age 37, of Florence, and 17-year-old male juvenile from Florence.
Sergeant Kyle Hove with the Oregon State Police says no one was home at the time of the arson. Both suspects were arrested over the weekend by Florence police on charges of arson in the first and burglary in the first. The FBI is investigating a report that 2 missiles were discovered on a passenger plane, and the final destination was Oregon. Brad Ford reports.
A bomb-sniffing dog discovered the Hellfire missiles with warheads that were being transported from Lebanon to Syria. The final destination of the missiles was Portland. Investigators have not revealed what the missiles were doing on the plane or who sent them. The FBI in Portland is aware of the report, but is not releasing any information about the investigation. Hellfire missiles have been used by the U.S. in the Iraq War. Military experts say it's likely that the missiles were stolen. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
Oregon Governor Kate Brown has released the final batch of emails from her predecessor, John Kitzhaber. The nearly 3,000 pages of emails continues to show how doggedly Kitzhaber worked to incorporate his fiancée, Sylvia Hayes, into his administration. Tens of thousands of pages were released last summer. Hayes and Kitzhaber remain under federal investigation in connection with 6-figure consulting deals that Hayes won to push environmental policies at the same time she was advising Kitzhaber's office on poverty and energy goals. Kitzhaber resigned in February 2015 as concerns of influence peddling emerged. In one of the newly released emails, dated July 8th of 2014, Kitzhaber suggested Hayes should be, and I'm quoting, intimately involved in crafting Oregon's next budget. He said it would be an invaluable experience, and she later ran for office. Well, Lynn County is accusing the state of Oregon of mismanaging forest policy, which is costing that county millions of dollars. Lynn County Board of Commissioners Chair Roger Nyquist says they're filing a $1.4 billion lawsuit. Now, they announced the suit prior to the legislative session, but then the county decided to hold off to allow the state to make forest management changes during the legislative session. That didn't happen.
Surely they could have resolved this in a matter of days had they had the political will and desire to do so. They didn't, so here we go.
Nyquist told KPNW, with one exception, the state has maintained complete silence over the issue.
We did get a response for the Oregon Department of Forestry, and it was, oh, geez, you've threatened to sue us, and so we better stop talking to you. And look, We've been talking to him for 15 years. You know, at some point you put up or you shut up, and so here we are.
They're hoping other counties join the class action lawsuit. The lawsuit argues the state is violating a rule that requires it to promote trust lands to the greatest permanent value. Lynn County estimates the state's failure to approve timber harvest has cost them $35 million a year since 2000. Well, Oregon has been fined $1.2 million for failing to address coastal pollution from logging, agriculture, and other sources. Federal regulators say they considered the state plan to control runoff that pollutes coastal waterways inefficient. Regulators will take the fine from a pot of about $4 million dedicated to addressing pollution in Oregon and give it to other states. The decision makes Oregon the first state to face penalties for inadequately meeting federal standards set in 1990. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and U.S. Environmental Protection Agency regulators have been warning Oregon officials for years they were violating terms of the Coastal Non-Point Pollution Program. The Oregon Board of Forestry began crafting rules to address logging runoff, but a 2015 bill never reached the Senate floor. Oregon Governor Kate Brown has signed the Clean Energy Bill passed by the legislature.
Oregon is known to be a leader in clean energy programs, investing in energy efficiency and recognizing the risks of climate change.
The new law requires large utilities in Oregon to stop using electricity generated from coal by 2030, and that the state get at least half of its electricity from renewable sources by 2040. Critics say there's no way to prevent power produced out of state from being generated by coal, and they say electricity prices will increase as much as 4% in addition to regular rate hikes. Now, keep in mind the legislature in the early 2000s changed the definition of renewable and passed a bill sponsored by current Labor Commissioner Brad Avakian that removed hydropower from the renewable energy list. The 2016 Tsunami Walkout took place Friday in Florence, Reedsport, and Coos Bay. The event was part of the Blue Line Project, which in part helps communities with signs that guide people out of tsunami induction zones. More communities may be added to the project once more funds become available. And even though there was intense publicity prior to the event and local politicians, including Peter DeFazio, walking, turnout was scant.
There was about 30 in Florence, about 20 in Reedsport, and there were 2 locations in Coos Bay, so I was with one that had about 10 to 12 people. Althea Rizzo with the Oregon Office of Emergency Management says if you live on the coast and you'd like to practice your route, visit OregonTsunami.org for more information. Washington's Secretary of State wants to create a new primary so voters have a better chance to determine who wins the Republican and Democratic presidential primaries. Brad Ford has the story.
The primaries for Oregon and Washington are the 3rd and 4th weeks in May, and the races for the nomination are often decided by that time.
The Pacific Northwest is being completely ignored by the candidates.
Washington Secretary of State Kim Wyman wants to convince several western states to join together and create a Pac-12 primary.
The idea with the Pac-12 primary is really to try to get a group of states on the West Coast to get together and hold their primary on the same day.
Southeastern states have done this. They call it the SEC primary. Wyman says another idea is to divide the country into 4 regional primaries and then rotate the order they vote every 4 years. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
Well, it all comes down to the wire as several presidential candidates may not survive this week's primaries and caucuses. They were all on the campaign trail in states like Ohio, Florida, and Missouri over the weekend.
If Trump is the nominee, Hillary wins. And if Hillary wins, the Supreme Court is lost for a generation. The Bill of Rights is lost. Our kids are buried in debt.
Lion Ted, boom. And he comes in with the Bible, right? And he lifts the Bible. And by the way, I win with the evangelicals by a lot.
We are now a nation where people hate each other. We are now a nation where we are no longer apparently capable of debating serious public policy without immediately concluding that the person that disagrees with you is evil.
No matter what it takes, I will not take the low road to the highest office in America. I will not do it.
The time is right
to create an economy that works for all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors.
We can criticize and protest Mr. Trump all we want, but none of that matters if we don't also show up at the polls.
5 states are scheduled to vote tomorrow: Illinois, Missouri, North Carolina, Florida, and Ohio. It's 7:23. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. Live and local news time is 7:22. Time for sports with Rob.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Oregon basketball, their number 1 seed in the West bracket, has the college basketball world in full discussion. First time Oregon will take the floor, by the way, Friday, 4:15 from Spokane, seen on True TV. More with Oregon State, though. Let's remember that Wayne Tinkle is in his second year as the head coach for the Beavers. Last year, open tryouts. In his second year, he's got the team dancing, and he's getting everybody on campus in his corner.
It's easy to do great things when you're surrounded by incredible people, from the ones that teach the classes here to the ones that prepare the meals, clean up campus, and all our A to Z. It's incredible here, the family that we have in Oregon State. And again, we're excited to be a part of it. So,
Wayne Tinkle, go Beavs. For a girls high school playoff, Sutherland, amazing, flat out getting it done as a 7th seed. They won their third straight consecutive state title, winning the title game 45-40 over Cascade. 5A girls, Springfield made it to the championship game, lost by a free throw to Silverton, heartbreak city for the Millers. 6A boys, West Lynn made it 4 consecutive state titles in a row. The last game, 74-48 over South Medford. Peyton Pritchard, something special, going to be in an Oregon uni next year. And 4A boys, congrats to Philomen. Warriors state champs beating Seaside. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle, the authority in sports nutrition since 1991, located in Eugene across Franklin from Market of Choice. News time, 7:24.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
The work week starts off wet and breezy through Tuesday with highs in the low 50s. By Wednesday, we start to warm up and dry out through the weekend with highs in the mid to low 60s. Overnight lows in the upper 40s. From the NBC's 16 First Alert Weather Center, I'm Angelica Carrillo.
This winter, we received more rainfall than in the past 75 years. Severe weather can cause damage to your home's foundation. Ramjack can fix that. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com.
CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. Needless to say, as I got ready to write this Motivational Minute, I was ecstatic when I ran across this statement by the American writer Joseph Shaw, who said, "The best advice for modern people, young and old, facing all sorts of propaganda, is the single word, think." As you know, I often use the word think in the minutes because thinking about some issue or idea is the only way we can finally see and understand both sides of the picture. So keep collecting your data, capitalizing on your strengths, and making those goals. And think about it. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CC number 4296.
Max Muscle Sports Nutrition is more than a nutrition store. Tom here at Max Muscle. If you want to make changes to your overall health, lose weight, build muscle, or if you just want to feel better, stop by, talk to a certified nutritionist. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
Are you dying to get away from it all? Well, stop by Three Rivers Casino Resort because we can make your getaway dreams a reality. Now through April 16th, you can earn entries to win a dream vacation in our Choose Your Cruise giveaway. Cruise winners will be drawn every hour from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, April 16th. And while you try for one cruise, we have another cruise coming your way. That's right, this March at Three Rivers Casino Resort, we will be hosting the world-famous 70s and 80s pop rock phenomenon, Pablo Cruz. They'll be playing their greatest hits in Florence, March 25th and March 26th. Tickets are $19.99 and $24.99, and they're going fast. So reserve your seats now. Visit threeriverscasino.com for more details. We're in cruise control at Three Rivers Casino Resort because things are luckier here.
The Easter season is a time of hope, which makes it the perfect time to consider a gift to the Eugene Mission. Because when you give to the Eugene Mission, you give rise to hope. The Eugene Mission is the area's only wellness center for the homeless. We treat the causes of homelessness, not just the symptoms. And when those we serve get well, all of Eugene Springfield gets well. Give rise to hope by donating today at eugenemission.org. The Eugene Mission. Hope rising.
Wayne County.
Basically, what we're doing is using our land use laws.
You're running again. Pay attention to all of your voters.
And the nation. Holloway in London. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
728. News Radio 1120 KPNW. Wet and 42 degrees out there. And fairly dark, too. But we're going to light it up here. We're going to light the morning up early, prematurely, with the Sheldon Dublinaires under the direction of Nancy Anderson, getting ready for their big St. Paddy's Day concert happening tomorrow at 7 p.m. And can I say, can I call them the official choir of the Wake Up Call, or is that?
That works for me.
I mean, because they've come in, they come in on a regular basis in December, and now we're working. Yep. We need something like maybe in the fall we'll come up with like some kind of excuse to have you in. Work on that. Okay, all right. By the way, if you're not streaming, there most of them, I'll say 90% in their green vests. Before we talk about and kind of get a preview of tomorrow, let's talk about the Carnegie Hall trip, New York City. Everybody maybe kind of get to the microphone that was, or at least people that want to talk about it. How was the trip to New York City? Anybody? Fantastic. Go ahead. Well, get close to the mic. Don't be...
Yeah.
You were talking about... What is your name?
My name's Elijah.
Okay, Elijah.
Your official spokesmodel. You know that now.
Thank you.
Okay. So how was the trip?
It was probably one of the best experiences of my life.
What was so great about it?
Well, everything, just flying up there, seeing the city. Like, seeing the city in real life is way different than seeing it in the movies.
First time there, obviously.
Yeah, first time there.
Okay. And first time singing at Carnegie Hall, or is that like a regular occurrence?
Definitely the first time for that, too.
What was that like?
Perfect. The acoustics in there are just amazing. Like, there was a baby that was crying at one point, and we couldn't even sing because that one baby was so loud and echoed off of every wall so loudly that we couldn't start our next song.
Now, did the choral performance have anything to do with the baby's crying?
It was that beautiful, yes.
Okay. Nice. How about you? What is your name?
My name's Savannah.
Savannah, and what was the experience like for you?
It was incredible. I think the food was probably the second best thing, second to Carnegie Hall. And being with my friends there was really awesome, and we got to spend a lot of time getting to bond with each other, and it was really great.
Best meal that you had in New York City?
I'm going to say Stardust Diner, just because of the experience and the people singing to you while you eat and serenading you.
And so these are people that are trying to get on the stage, Broadway, and they're taking this job and probably some of them getting discovered.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. Anybody else want to maybe explain how y'all got there? I mean, how did this work out? Because this was like a pretty special deal. Mm-hmm. Brandon?
Yeah. So what we have to do is we have to audition individually after we get nominated by our director, Nancy. And we have to prepare 2 songs. One of them has to be in a separate language, preferably Latin, and it has to be an art song on top of any other song that we feel like it shows off our talent. We send that in and we hear back in October-ish. We heard back on Halloween this year and last year too. This was my second time going, so.
Competing, do you have any idea competing with how many people across the country?
18,000 people that got nominated.
Are you just making that up? Or
no, it's about 18,000 people that got nominated. I don't know how many people, how many of them actually sent in auditions.
And how many dubs got to go? Was
7 of us.
7? Is that a record?
We had 7 last year, and we had 7 this year too. So it's a tied record.
That's kind of incredible. Is that
normal?
Cool. Incredible.
terribly normal for one school to send that many kids. So
That's
yay for us.
yeah. Anybody else want to talk about? And I think didn't you raise your hand? The one that doesn't want to be on the stream. Come up to the microphone so we can. Okay. Hey, you are who?
Ashley.
Okay. Ashley is wanted in 7 states, by the way. That's why she avoided
part of the witness
the
protection
stream cam.
program. Start them early these days.
What was it like for you going to New York City?
It was amazing. I mean, like, there was just so much to do while you were there. I mean, like, not only did you get to, like, sing in Carnegie Hall, but there was just so much to experience while you were there for the amount of time that we were there. It was really cool.
It's definitely a city that you experience. There's no way just kind of being a bystander. I mean, it just kind of sucks you in.
Yeah.
Carnegie Hall, I mean.
Yeah, the Broadway shows were amazing.
Oh, you had to go. How long were you there?
Well, I personally was there 8 days.
And did
Everyone else was there like 4 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's okay.
Did you get lost? Is that the deal?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot. A lot.
Were you afraid to ask for directions?
Yeah, because like there's a stereotype about New Yorkers being rude and like not wanting to help, so like you just want to figure it out on your own, but everyone there is actually super nice.
That's what I found as well. Anybody else want to talk about? I mean, because I think that's pretty cool that Sheldon, by the way, if you're just joining us, the Dublin Airs 7 got to go to New York City, and was it in December, I want to say?
February.
February, okay. And spend time singing at Carnegie Hall on stage. You know, we get asked to leave. They
Right. They don't even let us in the door.
Guest of honor. All right, so what's going on tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night at Sheldon Auditorium at 7 o'clock, we have our Look at the Irish concert. It's free. You can come down and listen to the Dublin Airs and Varsity Choir and Concert Choir sing a wide selection of Irish music.
And I was told, too, that if you closed your eyes, you couldn't tell if you were in Carnegie Hall or in the Sheldon, theater there. So is that accurate?
Is that true?
No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe for some people.
We're working on it then. Okay. Who's going to be performing?
We have the Dublin Airs, Varsity Choir, and our Concert Choir.
Wow. Okay. And it's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Free admission.
Free. Yep.
Come on down, and of course, I'm sure is there a spot to donate if you are so moved on the end?
We will have donation.
You're like, this is too incredible. I want to. Where's our seniors, by the way? A couple. Okay, good. All right. Do we have sophomores? Juniors? It's a pretty cross section. And any freshmen? I mean, we don't have any. I thought maybe there might be like a prodigy coming up here.
Sometimes there are.
Sometimes. Okay. Hey, let's break it open. You know what? Let's do a quick break here. We'll give you guys a chance to kind of warm things up, maybe have your chamomile tea, and we'll be back. 7:35, 25 away from 8. Wake up call, 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. The Federal Reserve kicking off its two-day monetary policy meeting tomorrow. It is expected to leave rates alone for now, but investors will be watching closely for the Fed to leave open the option of raising them later. The Federal Open Market Committee will wrap up the two-day meeting on Wednesday in Washington. Stocks are moving lower ahead of that. A few deals on the radar this morning. Private equity firm Apollo Global Management agreeing to buy grocery chain The Fresh Market for about $1.36 billion. The offer represents a 24% premium above Fresh Market's closing price on Friday. Since going public in 2010, Fresh Market has seen its sales growth slow, hurt by mounting competition. It is a bidding war for Starwood Hotel and Resorts. Starwood received an unsolicited takeover proposal from a group of companies led by Beijing-based Anbang Insurance Group. The proposal comes out to about $12.8 billion. Marriott, though, said it was buying Starwood for $12.2 billion in November to create the world's largest hotel company. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
The refunds are coming! The refunds are coming! Get the most out of your refund! Come
Come see Uncle Brad at Brad's Cartoons. Tune up your sound system. Decks, speakers, amplifiers, subwoofers. Add security and a backup cam. Great products, prices, and people. The absolute best place for car audio is Brad's Cartoons. 7th and Blair. Stay tuned.
Tired of long wait times and high prices at your local boat repair shop? The Boat Dock LLC Marine Repair in Springfield has the fastest turnover. With state-of-the-art test equipment and on-site test tank, the jobs are done right the first time. From simple tune-ups and water pumps to complete repowers on all types of marine power boats, the Boat Dock LLC is the shop to visit at 1252 30th Street in Springfield. A Better Business Bureau accredited business. Visit their website at eugeneboatrepair.com. That's eugeneboatrepair.com. Get set to save now at your local Kubota dealer. Take command of your lawn care tasks with the new Kubota Commander zero-turn mower. Get commercial-grade performance and a full 4-year factory warranty at a price you can afford. Now, during the Get Set to Save sales event, get special introductory pricing of $38.99 and 0 down and 0% APR financing for 36 months. Now through March 31st, 2016, call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about cost and terms. See Mid-Valley Tractor on Highway 99. Great prices, great products from people you can trust.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Showers continue today with highs in the upper 40s. Breezy with winds coming out of the southwest around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts getting up to 25 miles an hour. Between a quarter and a half inch of rain is possible for today. And later tonight, showers and wind continue with overnight lows in the low 40s. From the NBC 16 First Alert Weather Center, I'm Angelica Carrillo.
We understand a lot of these Dubliners sleep on Tempur-Pedics and Sertas and Sealy, but because of contractual reasons, they can't talk about it. But any other day when they're not performing here in the studio, they would be probably at home waking up on one of those Sleep Train mattresses. If you are just waking up and you're doing a little test play and realizing, it's a little bit cavernous or lumpy or not so comfortable, go see what a comfortable mattress is all about. The Triple Choice sale going on right now. Great deals to be had, and a way that you can be sleeping on a mattress tonight if you get there before 2 o'clock.
That's right. The Triple Choice sale is going on right now. You can save up to $300 on Beauty Rest and Posturepedic mattress sets, or get $300 in free sleep essentials with any Tempur-Pedic. And finally, Choice Trace. Get up to 4 years interest-free financing on the Beauty Rest Black Hybrid, which is a Sleep Train luxury exclusive, on your approved credit with up to 48 equal monthly payments required. And, of course, you'll get the guaranteed lowest price with Sleep Train's 100-day low price guarantee. Stop by Sleep Train, Corvallis, Albany, Eugene, and Springfield, and tell them Bill and Rob from the Wake Up Call sent you, if you're not too embarrassed.
We'll do it live.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway and London.
We'll do it live.
1120 KPNW.
This is boring as burnt toast.
7:40, 20 away from 8 o'clock. All right, it's not Carnegie Hall, but it is the studio that broadcasts to 15 listeners that have huge hearts and love live music in studio. Brandon, you want to tell us what we're going to be? You're giving us a preview of the big concert tomorrow. What might you be singing today?
We will be singing a song called Dulaman. Dulaman in Gaelic means seaweed. It's just the Dubs guys. And then we also have Shularoo, which is going to be all the girls, and Old Irish Blessing, our staple finisher song.
Did you say the first song was called Seaweed?
Dulaman, yes.
Okay. All right. I'm sure once we get into it, we'll understand, why.
No, you won't.
Nothing.
It's all in Gaelic.
Okay. All right. Whenever you're ready. Dubs in studio from Sheldon on KPNW.
Anivina shinari fihuria wahvina karakhling gojime Dulaman Dulaman Dulamana benebri Dulamana benebri Gaelic Dulaman Dulaman Dulamana farike Dulamana benebri Gaelic Rocky Mehilosha Dulaman Gaelic Yana Brocadera sa Dulaman Gaelic Dulaman Dulaman Dulamana benebri Dulamana benebri Gaelic Dulaman Dulaman Dulamana mana farige dula mana bene bigele roga braha dula mangela taberak ada strusha dula mangele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana farige dula mana bene bigele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana farige dula mana bene bigele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele anu vina shinari fehuria wa vina kurakan langojine dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana farige dula mana bene bigele campi ora dula man gena taklush whaler and dula man gele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana farige dula mana bene bigele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana farige dula mana bene bigele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele dula mana bene dula mana bene bigele.
They're going to Monroe Middle School after this. How many Monroe kids are going to be singing that song throughout the day? That's infectious. All right, that's the fellows. Now we're going to see the women step up, and they'll absorb the KPNW Whitmer Brothers studio floor. And just a reminder, what is coming up? What is this song?
This is called Shoolaroo, and it means goodbye, my love.
Very good.
I were on yonder hill, 'tis there I'd sit and cry my fill, till every tear would turn a mill, each go to my morning sun. I'll sell my rock, I'll sell my reel, and then I'll sell my spinning wheel, or to buy my love a sword of steel, each go to my morning sun. Shoo, shoo, shoo-la-roo, time can only heal my woe, since the lad of my heart did go, each go to my morning sun. I wish, and I wish in vain, I wish I had my heart again, and vainly think I'd not complain, each go to my morning sun. But now my love has gone to France, to try his fortune to advance. If he ever comes back, 'tis but a chance, each go to my morning sun. Shoo, shoo, shoo-la-roo, time can only heal my woe, since the lad of my heart did go, each go to my morning sun. I'll dye my petticoat, I'll dye it red, and round the world I'll beg my bread, until my parents shall wish me dead, each go to my morning sun. Shoo, shoo, shoo-la-roo, time can only heal my woe, since the lad of my heart did go, each go to my morning sun.
was very pretty. Sheldon Dubs, by the way, in studio. Nancy, out of curiosity, and you're close to a mic, how much warm-up did you guys do before coming in here?
Zip.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and you guys are kind of doing the full tour. You're doing Monroe later today, and anywhere else?
Several retirement centers. They love us to come and get them in the mood for St. Patrick's Day. And then, of course, our big concert tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And everybody's invited to 7 o'clock, Sheldon Auditorium. No admission charge, but a really deep leprechaun hat to get you out of the auditorium at the end of the concert.
You know, I never, we've talked how many times, I never picked up on the accent there.
Well, I don't use it except around St. Patty's Day.
Got it. Can we ink one more out with the, are we doing the full group on this one? Okay.
Sure.
All right. Sheldon Dubs, one more, getting ready for tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Sheldon, a free concert, Sheldon High School.
You know where you are?
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. The sunshine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God, may God, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you and give you peace. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. The sunshine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God, may God, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. May God hold you in the palm of his hand.
That right there is what it sounds like for many hours of hard work and some talent and blood, sweat, and tears when it goes to the common good. Savannah, out of curiosity, how long have you been singing?
I have been singing as long as I can remember, since like kindergarten, but I've been in dubs for 4 years, or for 3 years. This is my
So
third.
when you were in kindergarten, were you just singing, or were you part of a group, or how did you get your kind of training?
My preschool actually had a choir, and so we would sing in our preschool as like a concert, and it was really cute. So yeah, I've been in choir since then.
That's awesome. Anybody else, out of curiosity, how about you? Are you a senior? Can you step up? Somebody.
Yes, I'm a senior.
And when did you start singing?
I started singing freshman year when I was still a bit of a football jock.
So prior to that, you didn't have any?
No, not at all. I had no interest in choir, and I was in choir, and I felt kind of weird at first for being in it, but eventually people pressured me to get into varsity choir. And to varsity choir after that, I got.
You still feel weird, but you've been able to.
A little bit, but I managed to kind of grow upon it and kind of get used to it and say, hey, I'm okay with this.
That's got to be kind of intimidating, though, where you are there coming back, like Savannah, who's been singing for years, and to kind of jump in there as a freshman.
Yeah, well, my freshman year, I started in concert choir,
right.
And I didn't get into double winners till sophomore year. Yeah.
Well, that's still pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I am now.
Yeah.
Because I love all you guys. They're cool.
That's awesome. Brandon, how about a group hug, everybody? You go ahead and grab that. What? When did you start singing?
I started singing, I think, 3rd grade. And that was because my elementary school had a choir that you couldn't join until you were in 3rd grade. Does that need to be adjusted? Okay. And my sister was in it before, and before 3rd grade, I was just like, oh, I don't know about singing. I'm not very musical, even though I grew up in the program Kinder Music, which is a music program for kindergartners.
Yeah.
But until then, I had no interest in it. And after I was in choir for 3rd grade, I kind of just fell in love with it. And in 6th grade, I chose to wait till 7th grade to do choir instead of going into band because I felt more at home there than in band.
Nancy, out of curiosity, we see high school programs getting whittled. Are there those if you're kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade? Are there ample opportunities for people to start singing and doing theater and music and such?
I would think that there are not ample opportunities, but there are opportunities. For Jay now has music in every elementary school, not consistently throughout the year, but they get a little taste. So hopefully they like what they get in elementary school and graduate to us. But all the high schools have fine programs. It's just getting them started and keeping them going until they get here.
Is the music program over there strong enough where you get kids that are musically inclined who end up going to high school there at Sheldon simply because of the music program?
Maybe a little bit. I don't think as much as
you'd like.
Another school that shall remain nameless, but but it's a good program, and I think kids are happy to be part of it.
Trying to figure out what I'm trying to read between all this. What is he talking about? All right, how about another plug for somebody who just turned the radio on? What's happening tomorrow at the school?
Tomorrow night is our big Luck of the Irish concert, 7 o'clock at the high school. No admission charge, a deep leprechaun hat to put something in as you leave. We used to sponsor the community-wide Irish Festival, and when it didn't pay its way anymore a couple years ago, we thought, well, we've still got to do an Irish concert. And I really think that because we are the Sheldon Irish, we ought to know a little bit about the country and its people, so we get a little bit of history along with the music. And did you know it's the 100th anniversary of the Easter Uprising that led to Irish independence?
Really?
It is.
Centennial.
This very year.
Wow. All right. Hey, thank you everybody for getting up early. We know this is probably kind of a pain, but we appreciate the music. So
yeah.
Thanks for coming in and knock them dead tomorrow. Go Sheldon. The Dubs in studio with the wake-up call at 7:55.
Built for business. In business, time is money. In business, money is also money. No wonder nearly 1,000 businesses choose Comcast Business Internet over DSL from the phone company every single day. Not only is it up to 5 times faster, it's actually a better value when you go with the fastest plan. So take a minute out of your busy schedule and call Comcast Business. It will be well worth your time and your money.
Switch to Comcast Business Internet. Then add voice and TV for just $34.90 a month. And ask about our 2-year price guarantee. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 5/31/16. Restrictions apply. Limited to 1 voice line and private view TV for new customers. 2-year contract required. Requires Comcast Business Internet at an additional monthly charge. Equipment taxes and fees including broadcast TV fee extra. Savings claim based on cost per megabits per second. Compares Comcast 100 megabits per second and 20 megabits per second DSL downloads.
Jim Olson with Olson's Auto Glass.
I'm the 3rd generation to run the business. Started in 1938 by my grandfather, E. Olson. What defines us, separates us, is I think the quality of our work. We strive for excellence in every car we do. We try to use the best quality products available. Cars, trucks, SUVs, all that sort of thing. We can do the glass in all of them. That's our main focus is auto glass and safety of the vehicle. Our website is olsonsautoglass.com. Our address is 2041 West 7th Avenue. Phone number is 541-342-7773.
Words used in today's social networking go hand in hand with Umpqua ice cream.
I'm going to the table with this Umpqua ice cream. I'll follow you. LOL. You have ice cream all over your face. I want to see.
Enjoy pistachio almond, Umpqua ice cream's flavor of the month.
Do a selfie. Look in your spoon. Hey, I'm upside down.
Umpqua ice cream, the original social network. Share the flavor at umpquadairy.com.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Baby boomers have so woefully underfunded their retirement plans that for many, more than half probably, comfort is simply not in the cards. So if you don't have a public retirement or other defined benefit plan, just what does it take to retire well and be pretty sure you won't run out of money, no matter how long you live? Studies by the Financial Analyst Journal and others suggest that you'll need savings that total about 22 times the annual income you want them to produce. That means if you want $25,000 a year, beyond whatever Social Security you might collect, that's $2,000 a month, you need $550,000 in your retirement accounts. If you think you might want $50,000 instead, your capital needs are $1.1 million. Other studies suggest that 60% of Americans have less than $25,000 saved. On these numbers, you would produce about $94 a month. If you still smoke a pack a day, that won't even keep you in cigarettes. Here's the nugget. It seems obvious that we're going to have a lot of retirees who are old, poor, and very likely politically angry. Though some boomers still have delusional plans for their old age that don't involve savings, and so won't work. For many, it's simply too late. More soon. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
Market minutes. Stocks are fluctuating this morning after a rally Friday sent the S&P 500 to its highest close this year. United Continental's chief executive officer returning to his job today after a heart transplant. Oscar Munoz is gathering United's union leaders for a pep talk on day one, picking up where he left off before going on medical leave in October. People who rent rooms or homes online through Airbnb, you'll soon have a way to find out how your guests are behaving. A new tool will let neighbors weigh in with feedback on Airbnb properties in Japan and later through the rest of the world. Rentals are causing problems in some areas where neighbors live in close proximity to one another. More than half of Americans expect to get a tax refund this year. A Bankrate.com survey finds 31% plan to save or invest it, followed by 28% who will use the funds to pay down debt. Almost the same number will spend their refund on necessities such as food or utility bills. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
We report, you decide. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. 4 Republicans are out in 4 states the day before 5 primaries.
It's a strange year.
John Kasich hopes to shake up the race taking Ohio.
We're going to win this state, and then we're going to campaign all across the country.
Marco Rubio is telling a similar story in Florida.
Tomorrow's the day where we're going to shock the country, and we're going to do what needs to be done. We're going to win the 99 delegates here in Florida.
But Ted Cruz is in Illinois dismissing both Rubio and Kasich.
Only 2 candidates have any plausible path to winning the Republican nomination, me and Donald Trump.
Now, Trump's about to rally in North Carolina. He'll later go to Florida and Ohio, saying if he wins both, it'll be over. In the Democrat race, Bernie Sanders will hit 4 states today as polls show Hillary Clinton holding leads before tomorrow's voting. A Palestinian American who fought with ISIS terrorists in Iraq has just surrendered. Mohammed Jamal Amin is from Virginia and had a lot of cash, 3 cell phones and 3 forms of ID, including a U.S. driver's license. Why did an Amtrak train go off the rails on a straight stretch of track early this morning in Kansas? That is still unclear. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Dave, the National Transportation Safety Board hopes to get that answer soon. A team is on the way to the area west of Dodge City to investigate. There were about 128 passengers on board. This man was one of them. He says when the train stopped, he could hear people crying.
Looking for folks. It was a really dark field. So everyone was just kind of on both sides of the train, kind of looking for other people, family members.
At least 29 people were taken to hospitals. All are expected to be okay, Dave.
Tony, the day after a Maryland police officer was murdered in an unprovoked attack.
Investigators say they have yet to establish a motive in this case. They do have 2 suspects in custody, one of whom they say was injured during a firefight. He's in the hospital. The other, they say, they captured in a nearby fast food restaurant.
That's Fox's Rich Edson in Prince George's County, Maryland. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
Does your child participate in team sports? There are numerous benefits, but these activities also come with the risk of injury. If your young athlete plays baseball, soccer, tennis, or some other sport, they might get hurt. Neurospine Institute has several physicians that specialize in sports medicine, and they'll help your rising star recover so they can get back in the game. Conveniently located off Coburg Road near Autzen Stadium, their facility includes an on-site surgery center, runner's clinic, and physical therapy center, all under one roof.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
What ISIS keeps doing in Iraq and Syria could be about to get a new classification on Capitol Hill. Fox's John Decker is live in Washington.
The House will vote on a bill that would identify actions taken by ISIS against Christians, Yazidis, and the Kurds as genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. The resolution passed the House Foreign Affairs Committee with unanimous support and is expected to pass the full House with overwhelming bipartisan support. The vote in the House comes just days before a March 17th deadline for Secretary of State John Kerry and the White House to decide whether or not to declare genocide. The House vote comes after impatient lawmakers and religious groups stepped up calls for action, and it's an effort to force the administration's hand. Dave?
John, the water is still rising in parts of flood-ravaged Louisiana, where nearly 5,000 homes are damaged. In other areas, the water is receding, but some people might not be able to get back home to assess the damage for another week. 4 died in the flooding. 2 are missing in Mississippi, where hundreds more homes are flood-damaged. NASA is not alone studying Mars. A new mission's just been launched overseas.
The spacecraft blasted off from Kazakhstan this morning. It carries a probe which will take 7 months to reach Mars. The joint European-Russian project aims to study traces of gases on the planet, which may indicate life forms. Scientists say any discovery of methane gas will help them understand how life originated in our solar system. It could also prove that microorganisms were once present on Mars. The spacecraft will also test technology to bring researchers a step closer to planning human transport to the Red Planet. The second part of the mission in 2018 will deliver a space rover to the surface. In London, Kitty Logan, Fox News.
On Wall Street, it's kind of quiet. The Dow's down 14 points as the price of oil drops more than $1 a barrel, back to about $37. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
(1120) KPNW. Hey, thank you to everybody that was a part of Radiothon. I know it's 2 days, and we're asking for money, and hopefully, I think there's a good segment of the 15 that understand why we're asking, the importance of asking for the likes of CMN, and ultimately the babies and the kids and the doctors and the crew there, Team CNN, they're at CMN, is what I said. At River Bend. And then, of course, on Saturday, we had the auction, 4 or 5 hours of radio auction in which you save on everyday stuff. We're talking about stuff, service, merchandise, giveaways, I mean, across the board if you want to see what is still remaining. And it's not like it's not like stuff that you're not going to use. Still really good. We're talking, off the waffles, things for your car, getaways, available to you at kpnw.com. All right, so you might be able to look out the window and go, yeah, it's a wet one. We do have periods of heavy rain throughout the day expected. 48 for the high. We got some standing water. I don't know if you had standing water coming in, but it was some parts of Eugene very, very deep. Cloudy and breezy overnight. A 50% chance of rain coming up tonight. Wednesday through Saturday, we're talking about some sunshine, so some decent weather. Of course, the situation out there on Highway 36, milepost 25, 2 miles west of Triangle Lake. We got a closure, so no going through there. I-5 at 242, 8 miles north of Albany. We've got still apparently a crash that they're trying to get, trying to get so that that's not an issue anymore. It doesn't seem like it's affecting things too much. Hopefully that's the case. You see anything else, be a road ranger today, let us know and we'll pass that on. News coming up, and it's a heap of it.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit. We'll follow up on that landslide on 36. We'll take a look at some missiles coming into the United States, headed for Oregon. The FBI is investigating. We'll have the details there. Also, we'll have a visit from Rob during the news this morning. All has to do with something about a first seed or top pick or something like that. Anyway, those stories
Top
and more.
Pick. What? Yeah, we got a top pick.
News and more coming up, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones here on KPNW.
Hi, I'm Bill London, Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, and here's a true food story. One day after the wake-up call, one of our staff members walked into the studio, fully admitting she had not visited Burrito Amigos and had ordered a beef breakfast burrito without a tortilla in a bowl. The phrase, "What is this stuff?" in a continuous chorus ensued. The consensus was that whatever was supposed to be in that burrito looked more like something pulled out of a clogged garbage disposal. Now, we could only identify egg. We think. We took pictures. Then another employee pointed out, with Burrito Amigos, when you bite into or open up a burrito, you can actually identify all the ingredients by sight. The Angus beef in the Machaca burrito looks like beef. The bacon is easily identifiable in the bacon burritos, along with the eggs and potatoes and peppers and everything else. Burrito Amigos serves real food that you can identify by sight and enjoy. Food should not be scary. It should be real, like at Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones in Eugene and Springfield.
I'm Jeremy. And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
the one means no matter what the problem.
From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's locally supported by Mitsubishi Electric, so their Mitsubishi Electric factory-trained technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
Jerry, Shop Talk, can I help you?
Hi, yeah, I need some plywood.
Okay.
A dozen 10-foot studs.
Right.
6 rolls of tar paper, 8 bundles of roof shingles, and 12 concrete blocks.
Okay, got it.
Can Jerry's help me out with all that?
We'll do more than help you out.
Yeah?
We'll totally load your vehicle.
Really?
Just drive through our drive-through lumberyard.
Drive-through? Awesome. Can I get a shake with that?
Sure. Put her there, pal.
Thank you.
For Jerry's.
It's the big happenings in the Valley and the state. This is the Wake Up Call on 1120 KPNW with Bill London.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, a woman is dead after an early morning fire in Sweet Home that swept through an apartment complex. The 3-alarm blaze broke out early Sunday morning around 1:30 on the 2300 block of Main Street. Fire crews from Sweet Home, Lebanon, and Brownsville were able to get the fire under control fairly quickly. However, a woman identified as 70-year-old Ramona Schrock did die in that fire. The apartment complex and a nearby complex were evacuated. Fire investigators say it was caused by a cooking stove that was left on. Fire officials say that residents in all 5 units of the complex are now displaced, but the Red Cross is helping them out. Transportation officials say Highway 36 west of Triangle Lake is going to be closed for several days after a huge landslide. The Oregon Department of Transportation says that the Sunday landslide left the 2-lane highway completely blocked by 100-foot-tall trees and about 300 cubic yards of rock and debris. The cleanup work expected to last about 5 days. Officials are urging you to take an alternate route like Highway 36 as there's no local detour around it. Triangle Lake, by the way, is about 35 miles northwest of Eugene. Alachua School District officials say buses won't run Monday west of the lake on the Greenleaf route. So if you're going to Triangle Lake from the east, like Eugene, Junction City, etc., you're still good with Highway 36. But if you need to reach destinations west of milepost 25, that's where the slide is, you're going to have to take Highway 126. Well, it was an exciting weekend for Duck and Beaver fans. Rob has the details.
Remember when the University of Oregon was at football school with a basketball afterthought? Coach Dana Altman is changing that. In Dana's sixth season, he's got the Ducks, the Pac-12 regular season and tournament champs, riding into the NCAA tournament as a number one seed for the first time in school history, sliding in past teams like Villanova, Oklahoma, Michigan State. The Ducks have a huge target on their backs as a number one seed. So how do you ignore that and avoid any distractions or surprises from a lower seed? Coach Dana Altman offers this.
We hope everybody will, stay the same, keep their composure, keep their heads, and get ready to play, the way we want to play. Our formula's been pretty good here. We don't want to deviate from it at all.
Please don't deviate from that. Other number one seeds, North Carolina, Kansas, and Virginia. The Ducks might be enjoying the number one seed, but they don't have too long to celebrate. After the first round, in which they'll play Holy Cross or Southern, hopefully they'll play in a West bracket that includes Baylor, Duke, Oklahoma, and even Oregon State. That's right, the Beavers are not only in, but a 7th seed. Can we just pause and appreciate how far both programs have come in a relative short amount of time? Later today, we find out what seed and where the OSU women play. Lots to celebrate in the state of Oregon when it comes to basketball. Bill?
The street in West Eugene shut down for over an hour yesterday after a person had a mental breakdown. Eugene police say it started shortly before noon on the 2000 block of Cityview Street. It was shut down between West 18th and 21st for about an hour and a half while police tried to get the person to come out of a family member's house. Neighbors in the area were told to stay inside their homes during the period. Police said the person was taken to the University District Hospital for evaluation. Well, an accused arson suspect, actually a pair of them, are behind bars, and it was the work of the public as much as the police that put them there. The Florence Police Department and the Oregon State Police says tips from the public allowed them to catch the suspects in an arson case that occurred in the early morning hours on 2nd Street in Florence, March 2nd.
The two suspects were identified as James Lewis Main, age 37, of Florence, and 17-year-old male juvenile from Florence.
Sergeant Kyle Hove with the Oregon State Police says no one was at home at the time of the arson. Both suspects were arrested over the weekend by Florence police on charges of arson in the first and burglary in the first. Well, the FBI is investigating a report that 2 missiles were discovered on a passenger plane. And their final destination, Oregon. Brad Ford has the story.
A bomb-sniffing dog discovered the Hellfire missiles with warheads that were being transported from Lebanon to Syria. The final destination of the missiles was Portland. Investigators have not revealed what the missiles were doing on the plane or who sent them. The FBI in Portland is aware of the report, but is not releasing any information about the investigation. Hellfire missiles have been used by the U.S. in the Iraq War. Military experts say it's likely that the missiles were stolen. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
Well, Governor Kate Brown has released the final batch of emails from her predecessor, John Kitzhaber. The nearly 3,000 pages of emails continue to show how doggedly Kitzhaber worked to incorporate his fiancée, Sylvia Hayes, the First Lady, into his administration. Tens of thousands of pages were released last summer. Hayes and Kitzhaber remain under federal investigation in connection with 6-figure consulting deals that Hayes won to push environmental policies. At the same time, she was advising Kitzhaber's office on poverty and energy goals. Kitzhaber resigned in February of 2015 as concerns of influence peddling emerged. In one of the newly released emails dated July 8th of 2014, Kitzhaber suggested Hayes should be, quote, intimately involved in crafting Oregon's next budget. Former Governor Kitzhaber said it would be an invaluable experience when later she runs for office. Lynn County is accusing the state of Oregon of mismanaging forest policy, which is costing the county millions of dollars a year. County Chair Roger Nyquist says they're filing a $1.4 billion lawsuit. Now, they announced the suit prior to the legislative session, but then the county decided to hold off to allow the state to make forest management changes. That didn't happen.
Surely they could have resolved this in a matter of days had they had the political will and desire to do so. They didn't, so here we go.
With one exception, the state has maintained silence over the issue.
We did get a response for the Oregon Department of Forestry, and it was, "Oh, geez, you've threatened to sue us, and so we better stop talking to you." And look, we've been talking to them for 15 years. You know, at some point you put up or you shut up, and so here we are.
They're hoping other counties join the lawsuit. The lawsuit argues the state is violating a rule requiring it to promote trust lands to the greatest permanent value. Lynn County estimates the state's failure to approve timber harvest has cost them $35 million a year since 2000. KPNW News Time is 8:17. Oregon has been fined $1.2 million for failing to address coastal pollution from logging, agriculture, and other sources. Federal regulators said they consider the state plan to control runoff that pollutes coastal waterways insufficient. Regulators are going to take the fine from a pot of about $4 million dedicated to addressing pollution in Oregon and give it to other states. The decision makes Oregon the first state to face penalties for inadequately meeting federal standards set back in 1990. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and U.S. Environmental Protection Agency regulators have been warning Oregon officials for years that they were violating terms of the Coastal Non-Point Pollution Program. The Oregon Board of Forestry began crafting new rules to address logging runoff, but in 2015 the bill never reached the Senate floor. Oregon Governor Kate Brown has signed the Clean Energy Bill passed by the legislature.
Oregon is known to be a leader in clean energy programs, investing in energy efficiency and recognizing the risk of climate change.
The new law requires large utilities in Oregon to stop using electricity generated from coal by 2030, and that the state get at least half of its electricity from renewable resources by 2040. Now, we could already be doing that. Caveats coming up. Critics say there's no way to prevent power produced out of state from being generated by coal, and they say electricity prices will increase as much as 4% in addition to the regular rate hikes. Now, keep in mind, the legislature in the early 2000s changed the definition of renewable energy, and they passed a bill sponsored by current Labor Commissioner Brad Avakian that removed hydropower from the renewable energy list. That's right. Hydropower is not considered to be a renewable energy source. Well, the 2016 Tsunami Walkout took place Friday in Florence, Reedsport, and Coos Bay. The event was part of the Blue Line Project, which in part helps communities with signs that guide people out of tsunami induction zones. More communities may be added to the project once funds become available. And even though there was intense publicity prior to the event, and local politicians showed up to walk, including Peter DeFazio, turnout was scant.
There was about 30 in Florence, about 20 in Reedsport, and there were 2 locations in Coos Bay, so I was with one that had about 10 to 12 people.
Althea Rizzo is with the Oregon Office of Emergency Management. She says if you live on the coast and you'd like to practice your route, visit OregonTsunami.org for more information. Well, Washington, the Secretary of State, wants to create a new primary so voters have a better chance to determine who wins the Republican and Democratic presidential primaries. Brad Ford reports.
The primaries for Oregon and Washington are the 3rd and 4th weeks in May, and the races for the nomination are often decided by that time.
The Pacific Northwest is being completely ignored by the candidates.
Washington Secretary of State Kim Wyman wants to convince several Western states to join together and create a Pac-12 primary.
The idea with the Pac-12 primary is really to try to get a group of states on the West Coast to get together and hold their primary on the same day.
Southeastern states have done this. They call it the SEC primary. Wyman says another idea is to divide the country into 4 regional primaries and then rotate the order they vote every 4 years. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
And speaking of the primaries, it's now coming down to the wire as several presidential candidates may not survive tomorrow's primaries and caucuses. They were all out on the campaign trail in states like Ohio, Florida, and Missouri over the weekend.
If Trump is the nominee, Hillary wins. And if Hillary wins, the Supreme Court is lost for a generation. The Bill of Rights is lost. Our kids are buried in debt.
Lion Ted, boom. And he comes in with the Bible, right? And he lifts the Bible. And by the way, I win with the evangelicals by a lot.
We are now a nation where people hate each other. We are now a nation where we are no longer apparently capable of debating serious public policy without immediately concluding that the person that disagrees with you is evil.
No matter what it takes, I will not take the low road to the highest office in America. I will not do it.
The time is right to create an economy that works for all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors.
We can criticize and protest Mr. Trump all we want, but none of that matters if we don't also show up at the polls.
5 states are scheduled to vote Tuesday: Illinois, Missouri, North Carolina, Florida, and Ohio. It's 8:22. This live and local look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. It's time now for sports at 8:22 with Rob.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Oregon's #1 seed in the West bracket has the college basketball world in conversation. First time Oregon will take the floor is Friday, 4:15 from Spokane. Seen on True TV, either Holy Cross or Southern. More on Oregon State, though. Let's remember that Wayne Tinkle is in his second year as the head coach for the Beavers. Last year, he had open tryouts for the team to field a team. And this year, in his second year, he's got him dancing as a 7th seed. And he's getting everybody on campus in his corner.
It's easy to do great things when you're surrounded by incredible people, from the ones that teach the classes here to the ones that prepare the meals, clean up campus, and all our A to Z. It's incredible here, the family that we have in Oregon State. And again, we're excited to be a part of it. So,
go Beavers. High school playoffs, 4A girls. Sutherland, flat out amazing. As a 7th seed, they won their 3rd consecutive state title, winning the title game 45-40 over Cascade. 5A girls, Springfield, close but no cigar. They get to the championship game, lose by a point to Silverton. 6A boys, West Lynn, 4 state titles in a row. What a career for Peyton Pritchard, who will be a Duck next year. They beat South Medford 74-48. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW. Brought to you by Max Muscle, the authority in sports nutrition since 1991. Located in Eugene, across Franklin. For Market of Choice, News Time, 8:24.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Showers continue today with highs in the upper 40s. Breezy with winds coming out of the southwest around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts getting up to 25 miles an hour. Between a quarter and a half inch of rain is possible for today. And later tonight, showers and wind continue with overnight lows in the low 40s. From the NBC 16 First Alert Weather Center, I'm Angelica Carrillo.
Ramjack leads the way in foundation repair. Protect your investment. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Check out our exceptional online reviews, then choose Ramjack.
CCB 146906. Having trouble with those last few pounds? Or maybe you just need a boost of energy? Get to Max Muscle for Emerge. The taste is awesome, there's tons of flavors, and it's buy one, get one half off during the month of March. It's only at Max Muscle, 2001 Franklin Boulevard in Eugene.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers more than 100 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-400-8407. That's 1-800-400-8407.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserve in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 100 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-400-8407. That's 1-800-400-8407.
This is a heavy dose of hard-hitting wake-up call. This is the wake-up call.
For one thing, thank you so much.
Holloway in London and the wake-up call.
Yeah, I love what you do.
On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Well, all we need are strobe lights. Strobe lights and pacifiers right there. Anyway, good morning. It's 8:26. Welcome to a wet start to a Monday. If you were listening to the news, the last story that we did this morning had to do with tomorrow's primaries, of course, a big day coming up tomorrow. And the big question is anybody going to be able to catch up? In particular, you've got John Kasich, the governor of Ohio, and you also have Florida's own Senator Marco Rubio, who really are just barely hanging on by a thread. To talk about that this morning, it is University of Texas at Arlington political science professor and a guy who, I guess, have you officially been named political science professor of Texas yet?
I will be this Thursday.
All right.
In fact, I'm going to moderate a big discussion of some candidates for local offices, and some state representatives are going to be there and present me with the official declaration. But it's interesting. I'm going to be the official, unofficial political scientist of Texas.
And this is like the legislature has come up with this, right?
Exactly. Well,
All
the
right.
members of the legislature. It's sort of it's just fun. It's no formal designation. I'm certainly not the poet laureate of Texas by any means whatsoever. But I'm not sure if they even have one in Texas. We're a tough group. I don't think we have poet laureates. That's left to
I
Oregon.
don't know. You know, I would
Oregon has a poet laureate.
I would imagine that probably there are some, folks that do limericks in Texas that are probably quite good.
That's probably, but they're cowboys. They're cowboy poets.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's still poetry.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
All right, Professor Alan Sachs joining us on the Wake Up Call. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, Professor Sachs. Okay, so, I mean, can we officially say that if Rubio, which, I mean, statistically, and the polling shows that he's not even going to win his home state, Florida, can we officially say that Rubio is DOA?
I think he is, but he's not going to want to leave. From what I understand, he says even if he loses Florida, he's still going on. He has too much invested in this, I think emotionally more than anything. But in Ohio, John Kasich, the governor of Ohio, has said the opposite. Governor Kasich has said if he loses his state, and he's the governor there, he'll leave the race. But he's banking on he'll cover that state and be able to win. What's interesting, some weeks ago, he was winning pretty handily in Ohio. Now it looks like he's running neck and neck with Donald Trump. Mitt Romney, who everybody knows, the former nominee for the Republican Party for president 3.5 years ago, is going to go to Ohio to campaign for Governor Kasich. And that sort of tells me that Governor Kasich could be...
He's going to lose.
In a fight. That's right. Maybe he's going to lose. But I think Governor Kasich in the end may pull it out, but it's going to be awfully, awfully close.
Don't you think that smacks almost of... I don't know, desperation to have Romney come in and campaign for you in your home state, and even more so have a guy that essentially lost, not essentially, but lost the last presidential campaign?
That is true. But Governor Kasich is coming off more and more as a very moderate Republican. He's quoted on the Drudge Report this morning as saying that if he becomes president, that he will grant amnesty to illegals in this country within 100 days. So he's becoming very, very moderate in regard to all the other Republican candidates. He's strong on foreign policy, but when it comes to immigration, Governor Kasich, I think, is very, very, very leftist in regard to that. I'm not sure if that'll win him any votes in Ohio, but he certainly has taken that position.
All right, my theory is that the longer that these guys stay in, the more help that they give Trump. And really, I mean, Cruz, his numbers have been picking up, but he's still running second to Trump, and I believe likely would be beating Trump in some of these states if the vote wasn't so split up and fractured.
I agree with you completely. In fact, polls have shown that if Marco Rubio drops down, a lot of his support would go to Ted Cruz, and a little bit of John Kasich's support will go to Ted Cruz as well. Not as much as with Rubio, but some will. So I think you're right. Ted Cruz has the most to gain by Marco Rubio dropping out of the race and John Kasich as well. Then it really would be a two-person race. But the way it stands now, I don't even think that Donald Trump can make it to Cleveland, Ohio, and the Republican National Convention this summer by winning more than 1,237 delegates, and that's a magical number. He'll be close to that, but he won't surpass it, I don't believe, at this point. If he doesn't, the Republicans have a real problem. If Donald Trump does not get the nomination, his supporters are very, very strong and emotional. They may stay home. On the other hand, if he does get the nomination, some Republicans may stay home as well. So it is a darned if you do and darned if you don't situation for the Republican Party.
I like the way you boulderized that for us.
Well, it's a tough issue. And also, Hillary Clinton is probably just sitting on the sideline just sort of saying, wow, watch them divide. And meanwhile, the media, as everybody knows, has been very kind to Hillary Clinton, with the exception of one debate, and that was last week with Univision and CNN, and the moderator was Jorge Ramos, and he was really good. He asked Hillary Clinton some strong questions about emails, about a possible indictment, and Hillary Clinton literally just said, I'm not going to answer that question, and tried to go on to it. I can't think of any other moderators. Maybe Brett Baer asked one small question along that line. The others have been very kind to both Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Jake Tapper was very kind yesterday evening as well.
Explain, if you would, because in a couple of states and a couple of cases, Bernie Sanders has beaten Hillary Clinton, but she walks out of the state with the most delegates because of these superdelegates. Explain, if you would, the reasoning or the rationale behind the creation of these so-called independent superdelegates.
The Democratic Party did not run on the upstarts. They wanted to back their establishment candidates, in this case Hillary Clinton, and the superdelegates are a way of trying to ensure that. Superdelegates are already elected officials. Some are U.S. senators, some are members of Congress, some are party officials, and they don't want any problems with people like Bernie Sanders or anyone else. Although Bernie Sanders is causing the Democrats a lot of headaches this year, but I think, but he's going to lose, and he knows that. And then he'll start campaigning for Hillary Clinton. But the superdelegates were all about trying to keep the Bernie Sanders kinds of individuals and others at arm's length, and they've been very successful at that. And in fact, as some people have stated long before me, before the Democratic primary even started, it was over, and that's true. Hillary Clinton, by getting these superdelegates, and she has the majority of them, the race is over.
What about the Republicans? Are there, my understanding is there are some superdelegates, but very few, correct?
Exactly. There are some superdelegates, but some, and it doesn't nearly play as prominent a role in the Republican Party this time around as it does the Democrats. But the Republicans find themselves in some real problems. By the way the Democrats even structured their debates, a lot of people say was in favor of Hillary Clinton. And I think we've seen that. A lot of town halls, a lot of very nice questions to both Hillary and Bernie. Nothing that would embarrass them, nothing that would really affect them one way or the other in a very dramatic way. With the Republicans, from day one, it's been dynamite. There's no question about that. The very fact that
Megyn Kelly.
Megyn Kelly, I like her a lot. Megyn Kelly, I was going to say Meg Ryan, but Megyn Kelly Fox, when she asked that very first question, the very first debate, I think it was to Donald Trump about women. That did it. That blew the whole thing open. And I doubt if anybody's going to ask Hillary Clinton about her husband's women. But that's another story.
Yeah, no doubt. So what do you think is going to be the outcome tomorrow?
Well, Donald Trump wants a knockout. He wants to be able to get all 5 states. I doubt if he's going to be able to do it. But if he can, it really will be over. If he comes close to it, it still is going to be a battle to the Republican convention in Cleveland, Ohio this summer. And that convention, could really be, I get emotional about it, it could really be a Donnybrook. But that's the way conventions used to be. Conventions used to be what they called them gavel to gavel. They'd be covered by the media early in the morning till late in the evening. Now they're so pro forma, everybody knows, at least in past years, not so much this year, who the nominees were going to be. They just covered some of the major speeches and a couple of rallies, and they did it for a few hours a day, and then they went home. This may be going back to those old days of wheeling, dealing, delegate changing, and great speech making. And we'll have to see if that pans out this summer. I think the media would love it, and I would too.
All right. Professor Alan Sachs on the Wake Up Call. Prof, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated.
All right, you take care. Professor Alan Sachs, News Radio 1120 KPNW. We're looking at 8:37.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are fluctuating this morning. Investors looking to see what the Federal Reserve will do at its March meeting that starts tomorrow. Also on the radar this week, important economic readings, including retail sales, producer and consumer inflation, and housing starts. Payrolls rose in 30 states in January, a sign the labor market has been resilient in early 2016. Florida led the advance with a more than 32,000 increase in payrolls, followed by Texas with around 31,400 more jobs. Jury selection begins today in the faulty ignition switch lawsuit against General Motors. The case is the first big test for plaintiffs' lawyers and the carmakers' attorneys in assessing the strength and value of hundreds of similar allegations against GM. Goldman Sachs agreed to buy Honest Dollar. That's a Texas startup that offers retirement services to workers without access to employer-based plans. The firm pushing deeper into managing money from Main Street. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg.
If you need to sell your home, listen up. Lars here to tell you about a real estate agent right in Lane County that takes the stress out of selling a home. I'm talking about Jeremy Parmenter of Keller Williams Realty. Jeremy has a marketing system for selling homes on a whole different level than anyone you're going to talk to in Lane County. Jeremy works with the top real estate developer in Oregon, and week after week, Jeremy attracts hundreds of buyers, which creates demand and helps your home sell fast and for top dollar. That's why Jeremy offers a home sale guarantee. If Jeremy can't sell your home at a price and deadline you agreed to, he'll buy it. Plus, it's risk-free. If he isn't doing his job after one day, you can fire him. But don't worry, you won't, because he outsells the average agent 8-1. If I needed to sell my home and lived in Lane County, I'd call up Jeremy. Call Jeremy today at 541-255-5685. That's 541-255-5685. And start packing.
The Easter season is a time of hope, which makes it the perfect time to consider a gift to the Eugene Mission. Because when you give to the Eugene Mission, you give rise to hope. The Eugene Mission is the area's only wellness center for the homeless. We treat the causes of homelessness, not just the symptoms. And when those we serve get well, all of Eugene Springfield gets well. Give rise to hope by donating today at eugenemission.org. The Eugene Mission. Hope rising.
The Oregon guard threads a pass to his big man. Slam dunk. Precision counts, whether it's a big game on the line or your quality of life.
I had excruciating pain in my cheek and jaw, a condition called trigeminal neuralgia. My doctor recommended Sacred Heart Gamma Knife Center.
The physicians used highly focused, precise radiation beams to target the nerve. Game over for Mary's pain in just a few weeks. If you have severe facial pain, ask your primary doctor or specialist about Gamma Knife. Visit peacehealth.org/Gamma Knife to learn more.
Pop quiz for all business owners. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business, which one of these can you lose? Your home, your car, or your life savings? The answer? All three. Because if you're not incorporated, it's not just your business that can be sued, it's you too. Which means you could lose everything. Once business owners realize the risk of not being incorporated, they usually scramble to incorporate or form an LLC. To make it quick and easy, Incorporate.com is now giving away a free incorporation guide to all business owners, so you can incorporate in just 10 minutes. For your free 10-minute incorporation guide, call now 1-800-400-5017. Protect your financial future. At Incorporate.com, they don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. Call now for your free 10-minute incorporation guide. 1-800-400-5017. Hurry while supplies last. 1-800-400-5017. That's 1-800-400-5017.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
You don't have to be a retail giant or government agency to be the victim of a costly data breach. If you run a website and collect customer data, your small to mid-sized business is just as likely to be targeted by hackers. The Barracuda Web Application Firewall provides cost-effective instant security against automated and targeted attacks, making this WAF a must-have for your SMB. Reclaim your network. Try a Barracuda web app firewall risk-free at barracuda.com/WAF.
This announcement is for every man tired of waking up multiple times a night to use the bathroom. By calling now, preferred customers can get a free bottle of Perfect Prostate Formula. Perfect Prostate helps to increase urine flow when you go and helps to stop it when you sleep. We challenge you to try your first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. Just pay shipping and processing. This is a limited time offer. Call now. Dial 1-800-667-7068. That's 1-800-667-7068.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Work week starts off wet and breezy through Tuesday with highs in the low 50s. By Wednesday, we start to warm up and dry out through the weekend with highs in the mid to low 60s. Overnight lows in the upper 40s. From the NBC's 16 First Alert Weather Center, I'm Angelica Carrillo.
Mornings are a little different with a wake-up call.
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that?
Holloway in London. On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW 843. Last few moments of the show. Joining us, a frequent flyer on the Wake Up Call and friend of the show. Hey, look who's here. It's the director of the Eugene Opera. It's Mark Budare joining us.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, welcome back. So, heady weekend. How did it go?
It was great.
Yeah?
It was great. It was very good. Excuse me. It was not bad.
It was very
good. No, it was not bad. And here's how I rank things. My students know this, right? So let's say
By the way, Mark Budare also teaches at Notre Dame.
So my students sing something and they go, "How was that?" And I go, "Well, that was good." And they go, "Oh." And I go, "No, it was good." And then it could become excellent. But when it's really good, I go, "You know what? That was not bad." And then above that was very not bad. And that was extremely not bad. And this was more extremely not bad than very not bad. It was great. It was great. It was monumental. People lost their minds. There was a kiss in Act 1 between Olga and Lenski, and there were gasps and hoots from the women in the audience.
Oh, no, they kissed.
Well, that's not supposed to happen in opera.
No, they're supposed to kill each other.
But my Olga and my Lenski were hot. And at the end of the opera, people were like throwing things. They were tearing up the seats and throwing them on the stage. And Sunday was worse than Saturday. It was Friday. They were going nuts. It was major.
Would you say it's one of the best performances that you've had of the Eugene Opera?
Yeah. I mean, we've had... How can I do this without... I'm not going to sound modest. We've done really good work over the past decade. This year is like, I don't know what's happened. It's exploded. Turn of the Screw was great. Lucia, as you know, gun lobby and all that sort of thing. But last night it was extraordinary. And it was going to be extraordinary from the time people got here 3 weeks ago. They came ready to do this piece. Everybody brought everything to it. Andrew could not go to the post-show reception because he was so tired. But he was conducting Tchaikovsky, which is like full body. And everyone brought, they left nothing on the table.
So, what, you know, I mean, you've had a great season, but have you managed to put the butts in the seats? Do people say that about opera? Oh, did it put butts in seats?
Yeah, we say it more elegantly. We say, do we put butts in seats? And, you know, no, to be honest with you, but you need to know one thing about me, is that I'll tell you what makes me happy. Sold out makes me happy. Mm-hmm. And sold out, not kidding, makes me even happier. We had enough people, but this is people should have seen this. People who didn't see it. There are going to be people who go to their friends, oh, I heard it was great. I'm so sorry I missed it. My friends, I give you my personal guarantee, they're always going to be great. They're always going to be great. They're not going to be boring. I hate boring. I love great. They're going to be great, right? Right? They're going to be.
His wife is
my
over
wife
here.
is here. My wife is my audience. My wife is my audience.
So what is it going to take to put people in the seats at the opera? I mean, how do you sell opera to an audience that has been trained to not like opera because it's opera?
I don't know. Say for the moment, like, let me say to everybody, why don't we give it another name? Why don't we call it Ducks Football?
Come see Ducks Football at the Holt.
Right.
The football team will be performing
with an
the
extended version of extended sung version of the national anthem. When people, so the comment that I always loved as a singer was people would come up to me and they would say, I don't like opera, but I like it when you sing it, Mark. And that was like, God, that made me feel good. Because, and I've thought about this, and I know why. It's because I didn't go right from being a student to being a performer. I wasn't a theatrical family.
Yeah.
You know, when parents come in and go like, we don't know why our kid wants to be a singer and we can't, you know, we're doctors and engineers. And I go like, I know what you're talking about because my parents were the same way. And I spent some time in business, you know, between starting my career and then really getting a foothold. And I like to think that I have never forgotten the person in the audience who had to think maybe twice before they paid the price for the ticket. And they come in and they're scared, you know. Mm-hmm. I think about those people because I am those people. And I think that we have a duty towards those people, not to the snobs. No offense to the snobs. We love you too. But opera is entertainment. Entertainment is holy. I've really gotten slammed for this, but entertainment is a holy duty. And you can be entertaining even if you're great. So this is one of the things that I was talking about in the pre-curtain speeches is Tchaikovsky is a composer who is kind of dissed on by musical people who know things. Because we all love him. We all love Tchaikovsky. And I think the feeling is, well, if everybody loves Tchaikovsky, then he can't
be good.
No, he can't be good. He can't be good.
Well, I think also the 1812 Overture.
Yeah, sells tickets.
All the bombast, and they're firing cannons and all that stuff. It's like, oh, look at him. He's
sells tickets.
Kitschy.
You know, opera is cool. Opera's always been cool. It's significant. We all want to share this so bad.
Well, okay, you wanted to come in this morning, specifically after the opera, because you wanted to make an announcement of some sort. What were you wanting to chat about?
Did I?
Yeah, that's what you said. That's why you're here.
I'm running for president.
Little late getting in on that.
No, it's not. I mean, we've got primaries and that sort of thing. I'm running. I have a hat. No. So Little Women is coming up on Mother's Day. What I wanted to make an announcement was what we're going to do next season, which is our 40th anniversary.
All right.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
Start in the last week in October, which is National Opera Week, and we are going to present an operatic version of Much Ado About Nothing, because it is a Shakespeare year. It's a.k.a. Béatrice et Bénédicte by Hector Berlioz. A lot of B's there, the French composer.
Okay.
It will be sung in a very cool way, sung in French, and the spoken dialogue, there's spoken dialogue, and that will be Shakespeare. Then, for New Year's Eve, and on January 2nd, we are going to present, we're going to throw ourselves a party. It's going to be a gala performance, which has parts of 3 operas. Act 1, Scene 1 of Aida, where everyone goes off to war, and there are lots of great arias and choruses. Then we're going to take a little break and do Act 3 of something we've never done before, which is an opera called Dialogues of the Carmelites by Francis Poulenc. It's about a group of nuns in the French Revolution who end up being guillotined, which will happen on stage.
So you gotta love opera.
Oh,
You
and
gotta
it's
love,
great. And let me tell you,
guillotining
I'm
nuns.
going to say this. I'm going to say this now, which is the last 5 minutes of Dialogues of the Carmelites. Everybody who sees it will go, "Oh my gosh, my life has changed." The last 5 minutes of Dialogues of the Carmelites. I'm not kidding. And you're going to say, January of next year, you're going to say, "Mark, I laughed at you. I laughed in your face, but you were right." That's what you're going to say. Rob will be speechless because he's be so moved.
You will stop eating your craisins and hummus, Rob.
Craisins and hummus. We love craisins. Okay, so then we take an intermission, and then we go to Vienna for the best New Year's party ever, Act 2 of Fledermaus, which takes place in the villa of Prince Orlowski, and there are much hilarity ensues on stage. But it's a party, and then at some point Prince Orlowski says, "Oh, and we have some special guests." And our special guests, and I will reveal it here, will be, I'm going to ask all the resident companies to come and join us and do something. I've already asked the ballet. I've already talked to the choir. I've already dropped a hint at the Bach Festival. I will be speaking to Scott Frett at the Symphony today. Mozart players. Who else do we have? All of the resident companies. BFAN. I want them all there. Andrew wants the Youth Symphony to play under his direction the overture to Fledermaus to start this all off. But we are celebrating, like we're all about collaboration, okay? And we are celebrating the world's greatest city of arts and the outdoors. There, I said it. Then in March, because it's Leonard Bernstein's 100th birthday, we're going to do West Side Story in collaboration with the ballet, which is going to be way cool. And then we're going to end our season by doing Carmen, but it's a Carmen like you've never seen before. The British director Peter Brook, in about 1980, took Carmen, took the music, put it in a blender, stuck a new surprise ending on, which I will not reveal because people have to come and see it, named it The Tragedy of Carmen. It premiered in a warehouse in France, and people sat around the playing area like it was a bull ring. We can't do that, I don't think. We're doing it in the Soaring. But Jake Gardner, who was our Prince Gremlin yesterday, I'll tell you a story about Prince Gremlin, was in that original series. We may have seen him in 1980 when we went to the Beaumont Theater and sat on the floor with all the sand. So it is an alternative Carmen. And I think it's a great way to end our 40th season. Because Carmen was our first opera in 1976.
What's it going to take, do you think, to get butts in the seats?
Me going and shaking people's hands and saying,
"Yeah,
trust me."
Does the opera? I mean, does it need help? Does it need donations? Does it need what kind of things does it need?
So turning serious for a moment. It does need help. It does need donations. But this is by no means our fault. This is the way classical music is run in the United States. And for every performing arts group anywhere, ticket revenue counts for, box office receipts counts for 30% of our income. And the explanation of, and you go like, why is this? And it's actually very simple. Imagine the Trailblazers, okay? How many, you didn't give them the finger, did you?
No,
okay, yeah. How much time do I have? Can I go on?
We got like a minute.
I'm going. How many games a year do the Trailblazers play?
82 if they don't make it into the regular.
Okay, so 82. They have 82 times to sell tickets. Imagine if the Trailblazers had their present budget and only played 2 games. how much would the tickets be? $1 gazillion. Or they would rely on donations. So we have a certain amount of money we have to spend on each production, and we can't charge. We'll charge you like $200 a ticket, which, as I said yesterday, it would probably mean I'd have to hire Justin Bieber to sing Eugene Onegin, and I don't think anybody wants that. So here's the deal: if one half, every second person, if we could get an average where every second person who went to a Eugene opera production already bought me a cup of coffee a week, $2.50 a week, $12.50 a month, $300 a year. If we could get 1,250 people, we have 5,000 series, 2,500 people to do that, we could talk about other things.
You need to bring your wife in more often because you're on fire today.
You know,
you're in rare form.
They told me that when I was singing.
Rare form.
Yeah.
Mark, thanks for coming in. We have just enough time to say au revoir, see you tomorrow.
Spend an evening with James Taylor and his all-star band. The American icon is back on tour. Friday, July 15th, Matthew Knight Arena.
Whenever I see your smiling face, I have to smile.
The multiple Grammy Award-winning James Taylor. And a night full of his biggest hits.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain. And I'll be there, yeah, yeah, yeah. You've got a friend.
James Taylor.
In my mind.
Tickets on sale now at MatthewKnightarena.com. Friday, July 15th, Matthew Knight Arena. Spend the night with a friend. James Taylor. A Beaver production.
Hi, this is Bill London, and I can tell you from experience, dealing with a realtor can be a trying experience. Trying to sell my mom and dad's house recently, I would have liked to have had a realtor who up front would have told me not necessarily what I wanted to hear, but what I needed to hear. Like, for instance, that we really did need to put a new roof on the house. Otherwise, we were going to get beaten down on the price and some other things as well. Well, Eric Harpole is one of those realtors. He won't tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear to get the most out of your house.
I think when you sit down with Eric or anybody from his team, it's quickly apparent. I mean, they're serious, they know real estate, and they're not into filling the air with things that aren't true. Whether you're buying or selling or even thinking about doing either of those two, call the Harpole team at 541-286-3030. It will be the most refreshing conversation you ever had with a realtor. The Harpole Real Estate Group is changing the way real estate gets done here locally. 541-286-3030.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-992-2821. Strict limit of 1 per household.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking New Biotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. If your belly flattening results are too dramatic, simply reduce use to every other day. Think you might be bloated? See how much flatter New Biotics makes your belly. But hurry, call now for details while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-992-2821. That's 1-800-992-2821. 1-800-992-2821.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. He's betting everything on his home state.
I labored in almost total obscurity because I wasn't name-calling.
Ohio Governor John Kasich says now his message is being heard.
Performing better in Illinois. I'm going to win Ohio, and it's going to be a whole new ballgame.
But on the eve of 5 big primaries tomorrow for both parties, Ted Cruz says only he, not Kasich or Marco Rubio, has a chance to catch GOP frontrunner Donald Trump, who's just beginning a rally in North Carolina this hour. Amid all the talk by Trump opponents of a possible contested convention, one prominent House lawmaker is saying something different. Fox Radio's Jared Halpern live on the Hill.
After a weekend of protest and even unrest at Donald Trump rallies, House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy says
there's no place
for hatred, bigotry, or violence in politics.
McCarthy, a California Republican, tells Fox News that he understands the anger and frustration felt by many voters, but suggests Trump could attract unsatisfied Democrats.
We've got a lot of candidates out there. Whoever is selected is going to be better than the direction of the last 8 years.
But other leading Republicans have predicted a Trump nomination could lead to widespread Democrat wins in Congress and state houses. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. President Obama moments ago at the State Department.
There are real risks involved in being a diplomat.
Paying tribute to those who've given the ultimate sacrifice, including Ambassador Chris Stevens in Benghazi, also touting what he considers diplomatic achievements from the Iran nuclear deal to resuming relations with Cuba.
What a historic day it was when John reopened our embassy in Havana.
He drew a round of applause for saying he still wants to close Guantanamo Bay. Hundreds of migrants, including dozens of children, have just crossed a sealed border from Greece into Macedonia after leaving a camp where thousands have been stranded in deteriorating conditions after days of torrential rain. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Okay, so you own a business and cash is tight. So what do you do when you need funds? Go to a bank? Yeah, right. Waste a lot of time, send tons of paperwork only to find out you need to personally guarantee your home, firstborn, and everything in between. Or you can just call the Business Funding Group. Yeah, it's fast and simple with a 95% approval rate and cash for any business purpose. Equipment, inventory, expansion, cash flow, payroll. Grab a pen or put this number in your cell phone, but call 1-800-684-5434. That's 1-800-684-5434. When you call, you'll find out how to quickly and easily get the cash you need, up to $1 million with no collateral, no app or upfront fees, and your credit rating is not a factor. Plus approvals in 12 hours and funds in 2 to 3 days. Call the Business Funding Group at 1-800-684-5434. That's 1-800-684-5434. This is by far the fastest and best business loan you can possibly get. Call 1-800-684-5434.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Deb Carson.
Okay, friends, let the madness begin. The field of 68 is all set for the NCAA men's basketball tournament. The top seeds are in the South, Kansas, in the East region, North Carolina, West region, Oregon, the number 1 seed, and Virginia gets the number 1 seed in the Midwest region. The ACC, Big 10, Big 12, and Pac-12 all tied for the most teams in the tournament with 7 apiece. Bubble teams that got into the tournament include Syracuse, Michigan, Tulsa, Vanderbilt, Temple, and Wichita State. Bubble teams that were left out: Monmouth, St. Bonaventure, St. Mary's, San Diego State, Valparaiso, and South Carolina. NBA action: the Cavaliers beat the Clippers 114-90. It was a late 3 by Jose Calderon that lifted the Knicks over the Lakers 90-87. Hawks ripped the Pacers 104-75 for a complete scoreboard.
I'm Isaac Jackson at Jackson Jones Law Office. At our office, we represent people who have lost everything because of someone else's bad judgment. When someone takes something close to you, your health or a loved one, the right lawyer can help you walk through the stress, get the medical bills paid, and if needed, stand up and fight on your behalf. Our philosophy is simple. We start by meeting with you to give you a straightforward assessment of your case. Once that's done, we'll talk about what it means to hire a lawyer, whether it makes sense to try to get a settlement without a lawsuit, or whether we think it will take a fight. Our office specializes in wrongful death cases, accidents involving drunk drivers, and victims in violent car accidents. We want to help you move on, but if we need to, we will stand up and we'll fight for you. Call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797. Let's have a conversation. At Jackson Jones Law, we understand that everything can change in a second. If that's you, let us help you walk through this difficult time. Again, call me, Isaac Jackson.